going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
What up? Good to be here with you guys. First question would be, what do you believe the impact of the local church that you are with, you can name it please, I want everybody to know, is when it comes to your ministry and how that collision has taken place and how that helps you guys in your ministry or in music in general?
Yeah, well, so we all attend the same church. We're at Trinity Church in Portland, Oregon. We started as a church plant about 3.5 years ago. And I mean, in terms of the impact of our local church on our ministry, I don't think that there's a way I could exaggerate it. It's indispensable to what we do. In fact, if we didn't have the support, I don't think that we would feel the same sense of confidence or even liberty to engage in the type of ministry we're engaging in now. So our entire ministry is submitted under our local church, and we have the support of our elders, and the whole church prays for us when we're gone. But more importantly, just the preaching of the gospel week in and week out, the way the congregation loves us, having the opportunity to serve in the church, and that's one of the hardest parts of traveling. Aside from the fact that Thomas and I are married, Cortland has a girlfriend, that makes it difficult to travel. But being away from our church, that's really difficult as well. But yeah, it's the role that our local church plays in our ministry is indispensable. And the type of preaching that we're exposed to and the type of ministry that we sit under is equipping us and training us the whole time for the ministry that we go out to do. And so we're as we grow in the grace and knowledge of Jesus Christ from sitting under the preaching of the gospel, that just strengthens and equips us to go and do the ministry that we go out to do.
Great. Thomas, you touched on serving. In what capacity do you serve? And just to get this out, I don't feel like everybody who does music has to be an elder in the church, but in what capacity do you serve?
Yeah, so Cortland and I serve on the sound, so we serve there. I serve on the media front, do a lot of like the web support and IT infrastructure for our church. Brian and I serve the church in terms of the liturgy, so we do like call to worship, confession and pardon. There are times where we serve our church by doing poetry and just communicating and calling people to worship in that way. We serve our church by picking up chairs when necessary, vacuuming when necessary. I mean, anything and everything. It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to music. We just serve at whatever is available for us to serve. And we find that by serving, it actually helps us to be more effective in our ministry as we go out here, because if we're faithful at our local church, then God will be gracious to us as we pursue doing ministry outside of our local church.
Handing out bulletins and
we do that. We greet our readers.
I think too.
I love that, man. I love that.
You find that when you are actively serving in the church, one of the huge benefits of that as well is that you find that you're serving alongside the other brothers and sisters in the congregation. Your relationships are deepened, and then the people that you serve, you grow in your affections for them. And so part of actually gaining affection for the members of your church comes along with serving and knowing people by name, knowing what's going on in their lives. A lot of that happens when you're just serving next to each other. And so it does a lot to stir your affections for the congregation when you're caring for them and being cared for by them.
No doubt. Cortland, I love the way that everything fuses together with your group. Folk, hip hop, the underground vibe. I just love it. So, as far as you guys have that niche down pat, what do you feel like what is the first thing that comes to your heart when you think about the overall direction of Christians in art in general?
Like the direction of like where
it's going.
Where it's going.
Music, yeah.
Well, I think every artist, it's going to be different, you know. I can probably just speak on our behalf, but like our end goal is to make worshipful music, and to be creative, but not to put an emphasis on that, you know. And I think like in terms of the music soundscape. It's more of that's just a canvas and to like have the lyrics on, you know. So for us, I think it's more of creating something where people can be edified by what's being told, and what's being told is going to be rooted in biblical truth. And so I think as people listen, that's the emphasis for us, and that's what's drawing people to worship God, is what's being told to them about who God is and what He's doing. And so my hope is that would be the emphasis for more Christian music. Like, I hope it doesn't stop here. You know, I'm not saying that this is even the beginning, that people have done this before. And but I'd rather see that be the emphasis on Christian music, and not necessarily how artistic we can get or how mainstream we can get.
Right.
But like, how can we worship God, and how can we talk about Him? So.
No doubt. Did you guys want to comment on that?
I think it's great. I mean, in terms of, I think Christian artists now are stepping up their game a little bit. I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the folks that we brush shoulders with on a monthly basis, and I'm just in awe of the way that people can articulate God's truth, and they do it differently, and but it's super encouraging to see that. I think for a long time, Christians kind of felt embarrassed about that time.
West Coast native. I was born 1981, September 20.